Just believe it's yours and it'll be. Have faith and you'll see. There's a power deep inside you. All you gotta do is reach inside you. Don't be afraid.
Good morning, good morning.
You could face anything. Just repeat after me. I am power, I am love, I am light. I am worthy, I am learning.
Pray that all of you guys are having a great morning so far.
I am faithful, I am able, I am fearless. I am humble, I am grateful, I am purpose. I am passion, I am present, I'm determined. I am strong, I am brave, I am enough. Know that it won't be easy, still I won't give up.
Thank you guys for connecting with us this Sunday morning. And I pray that you all have had a great weekend. Good morning, Trika. Good morning, Tay. My favorite older sister.
Repeat after me.
You know how we do it. We're going to give a few more people time to log in. And we're going to get to it.
I am power, I am love, I am light.
Morning, Anita.
I am worthy, I am learning, I
I
deserve
pray
it.
you guys have a great service today.
I am faithful, I am able, I am fearless. I am humble, I am grateful, I am purpose. I am passion, I am present, I'm determined. I am strong, I am brave, I am enough.
Fam, what's happening, Felicia?
Still I won't give up.
So, hey, look, you guys, you know what we do. We're going to give it a few more minutes. Good morning, Cameron. But over the next few minutes, why don't you guys just drop like an emoji that's going to express the type of weekend or week that you've had. So if you had a chill week, drop the emoji with the sunglasses. Had an exhausting week, drop the exhausted emoji or whatever emoji best reflects the way your week and weekend has gone.
You could face anything. Just repeat after me. I am power, I am
Hola,
love, I am
Sheena.
light. I am worthy, I am learning, I deserve it.
I ain't gonna call no names because I don't want to get nobody in trouble, but shout out to the musicians who's checking in with us while they're sitting on the instruments and service. That is hilarious. Felicia said she was running all weekend. Running around, getting it done.
Shifting your ways, be confident within yourself.
Okay, Cameron. I'm not sure if that means you've been blowing clouds or what. Gwen, good morning. John, it's been one of those weekends, huh? Just over it all. I get it. I get it. Drika. It's been crazy. I get it. Chris, good morning. Good morning to Minister Hendricks and Minister Hennix over there with Crystal, my grandsons. Bishop Miller, good morning to you as well.
I am humble, I am grateful, I am purpose. I am passion, I am present, I'm determined. I am strong, I am brave, I am enough. Know that it won't be easy, still I won't give up.
I got some stuff this morning that I want to share with you guys that was very inspirational to me when I looked at it. So We're going to get into it in just a minute. I'm going to give it just a couple more minutes, maybe another minute, and we'll be getting started.
There's nothing left. You're more than capable. Just believe it's yours and it'll be. Have faith and you'll see. There's a power deep inside you. All you gotta do is reach inside.
If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like button. If you've been enjoying these Sunday morning light classes, and subscribe to the page if you haven't already. Don't forget to turn your notifications on. That way you'll be notified whenever we go live, just in case you missed a text message.
I am faithful, I am able, I am fearless, I am.
Hey, John, I miss being there in Colorado, man. I'm going to come and see you guys soon.
I am purpose, I am passion, I am present, I'm determined, I am strong, I am brave, I am enough. Know that it won't
Shout out
be
to
easy,
all of my
still I won't
fam
give
in
up.
Colorado, man.
Shifting your ways, be confident within yourself. Practice and trust, visualize all your desires.
Okay, we're in the countdown.
Focus on the better days. Be willing to let go and receive. Just breathe. Nothing will hold you down. Just repeat after me.
The coffee is doing everything it's supposed to do today. I see you, Tay.
I am power, I am love, I am light, I am worthy, I am learning, I deserve it, I am faithful, I am able, I am fearless,
All right,
I am humble, I am grateful,
we about to get to it. This is gonna be interesting. I like everything about what we're getting ready to talk about. Before we get into that, let me tell you guys about my week. I have all of my grandkids at the house this week. Shout out to every parent with more than one child. Shout out to you. I love you. I respect you. You are in my prayers around the clock because they wore me out. But I had a blast, had a great time. If you get a chance to love on those babies, love on them. They're full of joy, and these new kids is something else. I know you hear people say that, but I'm telling you from firsthand experience, some of the things that they say and do, they're just it's mind blowing. My 3-year-old granddaughter became obsessed with my 33-year-old daughter's fedora, and so every chance she gets, she would run into the room and get the fedora and put it on. It was crazy. Had chased around the house to get it back. My grandson told me last week also that the apocalypse was outside. We was trying to figure out, wait, what'd you say? Where is it? Tell us about the apocalypse. And we don't even know where you get that word from, but it's hilarious, and it's such a joy and a privilege to have those babies in our lives. So y'all love on your babies. As you all know, there's a lot of things going on in the news. This past week, we had 3 consecutive hottest days on planet Earth in over 100,000 years, is what they're telling us. So the Earth is continuing to heat up. So you guys use caution when you're out and about. If you work in the heat, make sure you're staying hydrated and all the other things. We still got a lot of chaos going on in the Middle East. We still got stuff going on with Russia and Ukraine. Also, I do want to mention one of our own, I will not say a name, but one of our own has been receiving death threats to their for their 3-year-old son. And so this is what I'm asking you guys to do about that situation. I want you guys to be prayerful that the Lord will expose the hand behind the threat, that it will just be brought to the light. I believe if all of us pray, God will expose that thing and give the insight, necessary insight, to the detectives that are currently working that case. But we do ask for your prayers. We solicit your prayers, not out of fear, not really out of much concern, but that the hand behind the threat will be exposed. I've been praying about it since I learned about it, and we are believing God to expose whomever this is, because that's sick to go into such gory details of how you will unalive a 3-year-old kid that has nothing to do with nothing. So, yeah, keep that in your prayers. So today we're going to go ahead and get into what it is that I want to talk about. I want to pull up this reference from the scripture, not that we need it, but I'm going to give you the reference first, and then I'm going to tell you a real life story that just happened in the last 48 to 72 hours that is, I think, will bring more understanding to the text. There's a passage of scripture that you've always heard quoted in traditional church services, and it's out of Psalm 37, Psalms number one, or well, not 137, Psalms 37, verse number 3. It says, "Trust in the Lord and do good, and thou shalt dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed." Verse number 4, it says, "Delight thyself in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of your heart." That part B of verse number 4 is what we want to talk about. Delight thyself in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of your heart. There is so much controversy about this, and we've heard that this passage expounded upon with no real explanation or no real apologetics. So we were forced to just take it, like, just the Lord to give you the desires of your heart, and pray about it. And so we leave it there. But over the years, and yesterday it really clicked after I received a phone call. It really clicked of exactly what's been happening, because I've seen the equivalent exchange in this passage of scripture. Like, it literally it takes something from you, and in exchange God will give something back to you of greater or equal value in the exchange, according to the law of equivalent exchange. But so when God give you the desires of your heart, understand that that is an equivalent exchange. And I'm not talking about that, but I want to point it out, because I told you guys the last 2 weeks that law, which is considered to be one of the laws of alchemy, that law actually works through all the scriptures. You see, verse number 4 starts saying, "Delight thyself in the Lord." That's what you must do. And according to the law of equivalent exchange, he shall give thee the desires of your heart. But you have something to do in order to receive or position yourself for the response of the Lord. And so now but I don't want to dwell on that side. I want to talk about he shall give you desires of your heart, because it's been expounded on. And for many years, my greatest revelation and understanding of this text is that God will put in your heart what you should desire as you're seeking him. And while I maintain my position in understanding of it that way, I have a little bit more insight that I'm going to share with you guys. And so I have friends that lives on the East Coast. And they've been in a lengthy process of building a home, right? So they're building a home from the ground up, and through the months that turned into over a year. I think a year and a couple of months. It ended up being dragged out. the builder began to slack, and everything was prolonged. They missed their original closing date by about 4 or 5 months now. And then 2 weeks ago, they received this phone call demanding that they come to closing just in a couple of days. Well, of course, you guys know it's not as simple as, okay, yeah, we'll close today. It's not that simple. So they were unable to do it. Their broker and lender was like, no, it can't happen right then. And so the builder said, well, if it doesn't happen, then you're in breach of contract and the deal is off the table. And so, sure enough, that was it. They were unable to do it. The builder declared them to be in breach of contract, took the deal off the table. Listen to what I'm saying to you. God will give you the desires of your heart. Now, watch this. It's not going where you think it's going, I promise you. And so, once that happened, I received a phone call, and I was explained everything that had just taken place moments prior, and was made aware that the builder took the deal off the table. And so here you have the situation where this couple was building this house from the ground up, right? And once the house is completed, the deal is taken off the table. That, my friend, is crazy. That is crazy. I could not imagine what type of emotional frenzy it would have hurled the most people into. But the phone call I received was not a frantic one. The phone call that I received, I I said, oh well, I was asked a question. I'm calling you not because I'm worried or upset. I'm calling because I don't understand why I don't care, nor why am I not bothered. Why am I not bothered by this? I'm concerned because I'm not bothered. I don't understand why my feelings not hurt. I don't understand why I'm not angry. I don't understand. I don't feel nothing about this. I responded and said, according to law of equivalent exchange, there has to be a response, something given back because there was much sacrifice made, a lot of money spent, so forth and so on. So we're going to fast forward to the last 48 to 72 hours. They had a trip scheduled for this past Thursday to fly into the new city where the what would have been the new house that they had built was in. And before we got off the phone, I think that was earlier this week, I said, no, that was Friday before last. I said, hey, listen, don't cancel your flight. Keep the flight. Go to the city anyway. And you never know. Just look around. Da 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 da. They keep the flight, flying to the city on Thursday. Within 2 days, they looked at several other houses. There was another house, brand new house, that had been built. And so they, at this point, they're over, you know, all of the drama with the house that they had originally contracted to be built. They're over that. But now, watch this. They're looking for a house now in that city because all of a sudden now they have a desire for the city. Get this. They have a desire to be in the city, to live in the city. But what God did was He used the connection with the first house that was being prepared for them. That was never going to be theirs anyway. It was never going to be theirs anyway. He used their connection and their commitment to being in that house to create desire in their hearts. I was asked on the phone. One of them said, "Well, I know I prayed about it, and I believe that God told me that we're going to move this city, and so now I'm wondering, like, did God say that or did He not say that? And I don't want to be missing God." And I gave her the example of how God told the prophet to go to Hezekiah and say to Hezekiah, "Look, get your house in order, for you shall surely die." Hezekiah went and did exactly what God told him. And while he was leaving, God turned him around and said, "Go back and tell him he shall not surely die." So he went back, no doubt, tripping and like, "Hey, King, remember what I had said earlier? Scratch that, man. Yeah, God said you good, you gonna live." Or wonder what that must have sounded like to Hezekiah, like, "Are you really a prophet? Because you just told me God said I was going to die. Did God say that or not?" And most of the time, we would assume that once there is a contradiction in what we've received by inspiration or prophetic insight or word of knowledge or wisdom or whatever, when there's a contradiction, we assume that the one or the other was not God. Now, watch this. God said to my friends that He was going to bless them to live, or He was calling them to this other city. And so they went to that city, they found property, started the process of building this house. The house is complete. The builder snatches it. So there is no longer the opportunity to live in this home. So did God tell them that or not? Yes, He did tell them that. Because the further along they worked through this process, the more of a desire they had to be in the city, right? Everything is in the current city that they're in right now. Everything, their whole entire life is in that city. So there was really no need to be in this other city. But God put a desire in them, and He only strengthened the desire by allowing them to watch this home from the ground up, step by step, be erected. I'm talking about even down to watching the molding go around the ceiling, watching the floorboards be put down, picking out the wood floors and all this stuff. I've been with them throughout the entire process, so I was able to witness the steps of this thing coming together. And once it's complete, God takes it out of the way because He has you exactly where He wants you. Now He has you in a place where you desire to be where He desires you to be. So, long story short, they get they're looking this in the last couple days. They find a house, see a house, because they're really over the whole house thing at this point. They see this house, brand new house. No one's ever lived in this house. It's already complete, and they see the price, and they tell their realtor, "Oh, we'll offer them this ridiculously below the asking price of a brand new house. Ridiculously low. I'm talking about, tens of thousands of dollars lower." And and mind you, the house had already been reduced once on the market, so I don't know how long it had been sitting there, but ridiculously lower. And they sent the offer in. Within 5 minutes, the offer was accepted. And so now we understand exactly what God was doing the whole time. God was giving them the desire for a new home, because if He just would have said, "Go and find a place to live in this city," they could have went into the city and probably just rented a condo or something like that. But He wanted to bless them, and He wanted to bless them with something new. So He had to get them close enough and keep them in the environment and in the mixed, and get them in the mentality of what living in a brand new space and watching a brand new space come together, what that would do for them. And so they did that. And it became a part of what they personally desired, although it didn't start with their own desire. It started with instructions from God. And so over the years, we have assumed with that when God gives us the desires of our heart, He's going to give us something that we want or what we desire. But the truth of the matter is, when God gives you the desires of your heart, the process to that is He first makes sure that you're only desiring the thing that He desires for you. How does He do it? In all of His sovereignty, because He's God. No one can do it like Him. And His wisdom and His strategies are infinite. And so he will put you in the process of developing your desire before He'll give it to you. And He always ensures that what you are desiring from Him and of Him is something that He desires for you and has prepared and is prepared to hand over to you. You get that? So this process caused him to want or caused them to want to desire to live in the house in this city and to do everything that God desired for them to do. And that's how He did it. But the process, you guys, is what I want you to remember. There's a process to God giving you the desires of your heart. Why am I saying this to you? I'm saying this to you because there are some of you right now, you have some desires, some things that you just have caught your attention or you have become interested in pursuing, and it doesn't look good and it's not mapping out. But I'm here to submit to you today that it could possibly be God trying to create and solidify a desire for something that He desires for you to have. But the way to create that desire and to place that desire in your heart is to engage you through other avenues. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it may start off with you saying, "I need to pay my Mastercard down some," and once you commit to paying that Mastercard down some, you cut back on spending, you cut back on so many other areas to be able to make this possible. You watch that balance come down, you watch your credit score go up, and before you know it, you are moving like a train, unstoppable, because you have built momentum, and the objective was not for you to pay off your MasterCard. The objective was for you to be debt free. And so what God had to do was He had to give you a desire to be debt free because you've been living with the debt so long. And you were used to it. You had learned to manage your finances in order to maintain the lifestyle that you did. But God said, "I don't even want you living like that." And so I'm going to give you a desire to pay off one card because my ultimate plan for you is for you to be debt free. But if I tell you, "Hey, look, I want you to work now to become debt free. I'm going to make you debt free." You're going to look at your $30,000 worth of debt. You're going to look at the $60,000 worth of debt, or however much debt you're in. You're going to look at that, and it's going to be overwhelming because you won't be able to see where you could free up $30,000 or $60,000 or whatever it is. You're not going to be able to see it. And so what God's going to do is He's going to cause the desire to be worked in you. And once the desire is worked in you, you're going to build momentum, and He's going to begin to hand you everything that you need in order to do what it is that you desire, thus giving you the desires of your heart. And when I say give you the desires of your heart, I'm saying give to you what to desire. And then He's going to fulfill that. So there's a process. So whenever the next time you get ready to pray a prayer and say, "Lord, you said you'll give us the desires of our hearts," and think about that process. Think about that. Those of you who are single, who are unmarried, think about it. When you're praying for a spouse, you're tired of being alone. "Lord, send my wife. Lord, send my husband. You said you give me desires of a heart. This is the type of man I want. This is how tall I want him to be. This is the type of woman I want. This is what type of physical features I desire out of a wife." You can say all that stuff if you want to, but God will send you through the process of relationships and teach you or begin to hand you what it is that you should desire of a spouse. And once you have that and you say, you know what? She don't have to be America's Next Top Model. I want someone to respect me. But you would have never had that desire had you not had other experiences. Experience lead you to that place. And so the Lord already from the beginning, he already knew exactly what you needed, but he had to get you to desire what it was that you needed so that you can appreciate what it is that he gives to you. You get that? And so there's a process. So whatever it is that you're desiring, whatever it is that you're asking of the Lord, and you're saying, Lord, give me the desires of my heart, make sure that you understand that there's a process to getting to the point of desire. There's a process to getting to the point of desire. So God will process you to the place where the desire of your heart is of according to his will for you, and not just, the lust of the flesh. We all see things and we desire stuff off the jump. Sometimes we see it and like, oh yeah, I want that. I'm praying about that thing. Yeah, God, you'll give me the desires of my heart. And so I'm claiming that, I'm speaking that, I'm gonna manifest that. You have affirmations about stuff, but you have not been processed to fully mature the desire that is necessary for you to appreciate the blessing once it's released. When that blessing is released, if the desire has not been processed through the process of God, you won't appreciate it. And after a moment, now watch this. After some times have passed, the very thing that you desire is the thing that gets on your last nerve. Everyone in this chat room has been in a relationship with someone that you really desired to have a relationship with. And once you got in that thing, after a while, you was like, oh my God, Lord, would you please deliver me? You praying like the three Hebrew boys in the fiery furnace because now you're in a situation that your desire wasn't as deep as you thought it was, and you're over it. It's only been a few months, it's only been a few years, and you over it. But prior to entering into that situation, you wanted it for a lifetime. You thought you wanted it for a lifetime, and that's because the desire had not been processed by God. You had not gone through the desire or the process of desire. And you have to allow God to take you. And I'm telling you, I want you guys on this week as we move forward, I want you guys to start paying attention to some of the passions that have been stirred up in you as of lately. Understand that this could very well possible be God processing you into the desire of something that he wants to hand over to you, something that he wants to bless you with, something that you have been predestined to receive. And he'll create that desire. And you go through that process and watch. If in fact you get to the end of the process and God removes that and said, nope, I just wanted you to get to the point where you would ask me for this because I wanted to give it to you all the time, but I knew that you wouldn't ask, or I knew that you wouldn't be able to receive it. And so I had to process you. When it comes to every area of your life, nothing is exempt. When you receive from God, understand you must have the desire in order to embrace it and entreat it as a blessing throughout the entire life of or after you've received it. If it's a blessing in the beginning, it's got to be a blessing in the end. And if it's a blessing in the beginning but not in the end, then that was not necessarily a desire that you have received from the Lord. That was the lust of your flesh. But the blessings of the Lord, here we go, maketh rich and addeth no sorrow with it. But that is through the process of desire, which again, in my closing, it's one of many examples of the law of equivalent exchange operating in our text. So, hey, look, I'm done. I hope that I provoked you to think a little bit deeper about some of the things that we've been taught traditionally. I pray that I've said something to encourage you and brought insight in some area of your life this morning. And I want you guys to just, again, pay attention to some of the passions that are being stirred up in you, some of the inspiration that's being stirred up in you. God could just be processing a new desire in your life because he desires for you to have it. And he's going to bless you. He's ready and prepared to bless you with it. And so now he's preparing you for it. So here we are. We're going to get ready to close. And I'm praying that you guys will really just sit with this that I've shared this morning and allow the Lord to open your eyes to what you are being processed for right now. I love you all. If you need me before next Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, hit me up. You know how to hit me up if you need me. Also, don't forget to go and make a donation today. I'm asking everyone to immediately following this broadcast, just go ahead and hit me up. It's Cash App or Zelle or PayPal, however you give, but do something. Do something today. I thank you guys so much for your time and just for hanging out with me for these 45 minutes, 36 minutes. Thank you guys so much. And you enjoy the rest of your evening and have the greatest week ever. I love you all. I bid you blessings and Godspeed.
Know that it won't be easy, still I won't give up. Shifting your ways, be confident within yourself.
Love you too, Linda Lewis.
Practice and trust,
Love you,
visualize
G.
all your desires. Focus on the better days. Be willing to let go and receive. Just breathe. Nothing will
Don't forget to hit that
hold
like
it
button on your way
down.
out.
Just repeat after me.
Subscribe to the channel.
I am power, I am love, I am light.
God bless you, Bishop.